Hello everyone, Edward Green here. Welcome to Season 3 of the all-new sports show presented by Roger G. Taylor & Associates. Wes Bradshaw will be joining me at the desk momentarily, but we have a packed show for you tonight as we get serious with our high school football coverage. That's right, tonight we are starting with our preseason interviews. We have Tarboro, North Edgecombe, Southwest Edgecombe, and Rocky Mount Prep lined up for you tonight. So you don't want to miss it, as well as near the end, we'll be bringing you a special edition of 60 Seconds of Saga. So stick around, we'll be right back. Welcome to Season 3.
Dogs coming on a blitz, a nice pickup. Green gets rid of it and caught on the deflection. Put 6 on the board, Knight fans. That is a touchdown.
And it is caught by number 20, Malik Williams, and he breaks free. He's going. One man to beat. It's a touchdown.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Season 3, the season of Serious, here on the all-new sports show.
Sports. We're serious.
I've already messed it up.
Sports.
I don't get a mulligan on this.
Sports are serious.
We are coming to you live from the palatial WHIG TV studios above the power plant, or in the power plant above Chico's in Rocky Mount, North Carolina. To our worldwide online audience tonight, hello.
Hello.
Hola.
Hi.
Adios.
We're doing good.
But anyway, okay. Folks, it is, like we said, Season 3. We've had our summer hiatus. We did have our Christmas in July special.
Yes.
But now we are back from summer vacation. We are tanned to a nice Tony Bronze. And now
You are. I'm not.
I am. You know me, Mr. Outdoors. And folks, we are ready to bring you the 2014 high school football season here in Nash, Edgecombe, Wilson County. Also, folks, you know we like to keep you up on other things as well. And, of course, we talk about the sport of the future since 1972, which we'll get to a little later.
Yes.
Ed, so good to see you again.
Absolutely,
It's
you
been
too.
a while.
It's been too long.
Christmas
Much too
was
long.
nice. You know, it's always nice to see family at Christmas.
Of course.
But when we get together and we do our work, that's where things really just click for the two of us.
We got started yesterday. We got some great stuff that you're going to be seeing later in the show.
It's a road trip.
We did. It was a long road trip, but we're finally back.
So long on the way back, we were looking up how much would it have cost us to fly.
Yes, more than you'd think.
A whole lot.
Much more than you'd think, actually. But we had a lot of fun, and but I'm so excited for this high school football season because there's a lot of teams we don't know how good they are yet.
No.
There's some teams you always expect they're this good, but we don't know.
It's a mystery.
It's really a mystery that we're going to unravel.
There may be no dominant team in the area this year.
It's true.
All of our 12 schools that we cover, I think probably 8 to 9 could just go against each other every week and have a real shot. So we're going to have a great season coming up. Ed, real quick, this is the all-new sports show brought to you each and every week by Roger G. Taylor and Associates, our title principal sponsor. Also, folks, if you look down below us, you will see our show sponsors as well. Big thanks to those guys. Without them, you know, as I always say, my wife's having to put up with me on Sunday nights, and that's not good for anyone involved.
No one puts up with me on Sunday nights. It's just a lonely night of Netflix.
Exactly. And folks, we're going to tell you about, you know, ways you can get in touch with the All New Sports Show and some new things that have come about this summer and later last year. Ed, first and foremost, put us over on the social media.
Of course, you'll be seeing it on the bottom of the screen all throughout the night, but there are a lot of different ways you can get up with us. Twitter, of course, still there, at All New Sports Show. Facebook, facebook.com/allnewsportshow. That's where you can find a lot of our that's a really good aggregate of a lot of things. Our Facebook posts, our pictures, our videos. Speaking of videos, youtube.com/the all new sports show. Look at how that just appears on the bottom of the screen as soon as I talk about it. It's so wonderful. We have time in here. You can go check out that's our brand new YouTube channel. It's the official one for the All New Sports Show. Everything going forward now will be there, including later this week. We'll have all our interviews you'll see tonight, so you can check them out. There are also all our promos we've already aired, as well as we're probably going to start doing full episodes as well. You can already go back there and check now the Christmas in July special.
Christmas in July.
It's very good.
Wonderful.
Finally,
it was not cold.
Absolutely. You can also get us on Instagram, instagram.com/allnewsportshow. Finally, go to podbean.com or iTunes, and you can listen to the All New Sports Show, the podcast.
That's right,
a lot of
folks.
fun.
And it will not pack your colon when you listen to it.
Not at all.
Good stuff.
Not at all.
And just for those of you out there who don't know about it yet, we kind of get away from our local coverage on the podcast.
Very away from our local coverage.
Yeah.
But it's a lot of fun. We still talk a lot of sports.
That's right.
We hit a lot of big issues. We hit a lot of issues we wouldn't normally talk about on this show. Some serious. We're going to talk about the serious ones more.
Some really out in left field stuff that Wes comes up with just while he's sitting at his kitchen table at 11 o'clock on a Tuesday night.
It's true. But we have a lot of fun doing it. And if you want something to listen to on your daily commute, go check us out there. Again, you can go to podbean.com or iTunes and search for the All New Sports Show, the podcast. That's where you'll find us. And lastly,
maybe don't let your preteens listen to it, by the way.
Explicit tag for a reason.
Say after 30.
allnewsportshow@gmail.com is still our email address. And finally, send your ravens, send your letters, send your parcels. 1701 Sunset Avenue, Suite 201.
We accept gifts.
Rocky Mount, North Carolina, 27804. We don't accept live animals.
12 schools out there. Hey, we're looking for swag around here. You know, I would love to decorate the palatial studios here with maybe some rah-rah pennants.
If you noticed on the intro, the area above the TV was very barren.
Very barren.
We would love stuff to put up there instead. Maybe a picture of Pirlo.
Oh, Andrea.
Just saying.
God, he's
I'd love it.
He's the only one. He's the only one better than Pippo.
Yeah.
Oh, Pippo.
The only one.
They smelled wonderful, those Italians.
But you'll hear about that later.
And last but not least, folks, a man we would like to introduce to the show tonight, his first All New Sports Show.
And what a show to start it off.
What a show to start off. He has been on staff now for 2 days for us. And Ed, why don't you introduce producer Des?
Desmond McManus. He'll be joining us as a producer on the show and on the podcast. He'll be running our social media for the most part from now on. So if you don't see a name attached to a post, that's him throwing it up there for us, so we don't have to anymore. Right. Occasionally, we will still get on there and post ourselves.
That's right, every now and then.
But for the most part, he's going to be taken care of. So happy to have him on board. Comes to us from Ohio. And we'll be letting you know.
College, Ohio, originally Illinois.
Yes.
Illinois.
And a big Ohio State fan, which shares affinity with one of our coaches we'll talk to in a minute, but you're not a big fan of that.
Oh, that's all right. You know, he has his other positive qualities. But folks, you'll get to know
like running
producer
this show.
Des. Exactly. Thanks, producer Des.
Yeah.
You'll get to know him a little more as the season goes on, and probably even more than that if you do pick up on the podcast.
Yes.
Folks, we invite you to take a look at, once again, those ways to find us on social media.
Of course.
And also to listen to us when you don't have to have us on right here, whatever medium you're watching us on tonight. Of course, we welcome our local viewers here on WHIG TV. And, of course, we welcome our viewers around the
world.
globe.
If you're in Brazil, for example.
I made so many foreigner friends this summer by speaking the word of football.
You did.
So
It's
been fun.
It's
been fun.
Bienvenido. Get started?
It's time to jump right in.
Love it. I am so excited.
Folks,
I have not been this excited for a football season in the last couple of years, to be honest.
I personally have not been this excited for high school football season since 2013 came out.
All right, that's fair.
So it is a big one for us.
Yes.
And let's kick off our first of 12 previews. It is week 1.
Yes.
Folks, I think we start off with what to this point has been the most dominant team in this part of our viewing area, no doubt. Most dominant team over the past 6-7 years. And we're going to start right off with Coach Jeff Craddock's Tarboro Vikings.
A lot of great stuff coming back here. They're coming off an 11-3 season. Of course, ran roughshod through their conference, dropping down to 1A. That was the big story last year. Hitting up now the Two Rivers Conference, as well as a couple other teams you'll see tonight.
And Ed, real quick before we get going, folks, I want to plug one more thing.
Please do. This is big.
A lot of our good information tonight coming from our friends at NC Preps. This is the NC Preps preseason yearbook 2014 edition. Great stuff. You can pick it up. I got mine personally at Omega Sports in Greenville. I believe that might be the most local one we have. But if you do go on to North Carolina Preps, ncpreps.com, you can order yours, $13 folks, if you're a high school football fan, this is an absolute wealth of knowledge. And hey, I'm not going to lie to anyone at home. This is where we began our prep for what we're doing. It's got great stuff in it. We'll tell you some stuff about their preseason rankings, preseason All-State. And folks, when you hear us give out a preseason ranking, we're giving it based on what NC Preps has right
Of course.
And of course, tonight with our Two Rivers teams, we're going to give you their predictions for the Two Rivers Conference before the night's over.
So back to Tarboro. They're returning 16 people, 5 on offense, 3 on defense. The one big thing, and you're going to mention it to Coach Craddock in the interview that you so awesomely did.
Until the end.
Yes, right until the end. The biggest thing, they don't have the skill guys back this year on offense.
Right.
But what they do have, front 5. And that consistency might prove to be awesome on a team that was expected to at least get back to the state finals for what would have been a 6th consecutive year and unfortunately ended in the 3rd round at home.
What you're going to look at, folks, 5 returning offensive line starters. For a team that loves to run the football, ground and pound, you can't ask for anything better. And that is Tarboro. Once again, it's going to be the Tarboro T, the venerable offense that they have become known statewide for. Jeff Craddock, are you going to try to fix what's not broken? And Tarboro doesn't do it every year. When you return 5 offensive linemen, it opens up everything. Now the key, and we didn't talk about this, the key is you got to keep those 5 offensive linemen healthy.
Yes.
If you take those 5 offensive linemen into November, then you are really in a good spot. You've got a good chance. Tarboro, we'll talk about a little bit after our interview with Coach Craddock. Returning, of course, an 11-3 record, 5-0 conference. They were never challenged in conference play.
I mean, if you just look at some of these scores real quick, I mean, South Creek 51-8, Rocky Mount Prep 78-14, Riverside Martin 48-0, Northampton County 50-7, North Edgecombe 47-0, and then even in the first round of the playoffs, Spring Creek 50-0.
And the thing is, a lot of those conference games, they probably could have been worse than what they were. That's the thing. Truth, they probably could have been worse. But it's a team that, at this point, they are still on a level so much higher than anyone else in that 1A conference. That this year should probably not be another tough year in conference for them. But that said, Jeff Craddock went out. He has scheduled a very tough non-conference slate.
Absolutely.
And we're going to get to that in just a few moments. But first, folks, we would like to take it out right now to Tarboro High School. He came in out of the rain just to speak to you, and I actually already watching film when we got there. But we did get a chance to have a few moments with Tarboro head football coach Jeff Craddock, and let's take you right now to that interview.
Right now to the interview that we are going to go to here in just a second.
Folks, welcome you to Tarboro High School, another one of our preview interviews for this week. And folks, the guy to my left, you might have seen him on the All New Sports Show once or twice. He is Tarboro head football coach Jeff Craddock. Coach, Vikings coming off an 11-3 season, 5-0 in conference play. So you guys now have a year of 1A ball under your belt. What are we going to be looking at here in 2014?
Well, hopefully we'll be looking at a team that's going to be very competitive, and we'll learn a few lessons from last year about togetherness and about paying attention to detail, which I thought we were a little lax on as a team. 11-3, a lot of people think that's a great season, and we don't consider that a great season. It was a disappointment to us, but hopefully we'll use that to our advantage this year and be quite a bit better than we were last year.
Coach, good place to build. You return 5 offensive starters. Now that's not always 5 offensive starters, but it's your entire offensive line, so that's a really good thing, especially when you're a power running football team.
Oh yeah, it's going to have to be the strength of our team, especially early on. We got a lot of young backs, going to be very good backs, but they're young right now. So we're hoping with the experience up front, that the running lanes will be a little bit bigger. And we'll just kind of ride them. Our defense is going to be a little inexperienced, so hopefully you'll see a few long, good drives that we're ball controlling teams a little bit and give us a chance to get some experience behind them and get our defense a little bit of experience. And hopefully within first 4 or 5 weeks of the season, we'll end up starting to become a very good football team.
Coach, speaking of your defense, you bring back 3 starters off of it, but a lot of star power that you did lose. But yet you're bringing up a JV defense. Now, granted, JV football is what it is. 8.5 games of shutout football a season ago out of, I believe, a 9-game schedule. That's solid.
Yeah, we got a lot of great kids in the program, and then those kids work hard, and that JV program, Coach Babb and that staff, they're phenomenal. That stuff doesn't happen by accident. And, man, and when they come up, they're pretty fundamentally sound. I mean, they do the same system, of course, and so it's just a progression of, them getting acclimated to varsity speed, which they already got a taste of that with a little scrimmage against Fike, and it was a good eye-opener for them. Varsity is a little bit different, a little quicker, and the boys, a little stronger. But the kids are great, and they're working hard, and they're great to coach. So it's just a matter of, that's why we're studying film right now, because showing them the little things that make the difference in varsity football that we got to learn from.
Coach, now take a look on the offensive side of the ball. As we said, you lose all your backs. Quarterback seems to be the spot right now. Absolutely zero returning experience at the quarterback spot. Who are we looking to see under center for the Vikings?
Right now we got Dawson Harris, who's a rising sophomore, and he was on the JV team last year. He did some kicking for us at the varsity, and we have Malcolm Speller, who really is a transplanted running back, a great kid, and helping out the team. We asked if he would move there to give us some depth last year. So and we got him in some late game situations, but now he's had a full year to work, and both of those two are competing very well. And we're just trying to see, who the best person for the job is. And out of those two, one's going to be the starter and one's going to play the backup. And that could change from week to week. You don't really know. But two great kids. We can trust them, very dependable, and I'm excited to have them, and they're going to do a great job.
Coach, what we're doing this year, we're kind of highlighting 3 big games, and of course every game is big. We know that week to week, but 3 games we kind of highlight off the schedule every for the year. The ones we went for you guys, Game 1, Nash Central. This is the kickoff game every year for our Friday night football. You guys and the Bulldogs. Coach Crudup returning a team that was winless a season ago, but he played a lot of youngsters last year. So you guys could have your hands full Game 1.
Well, we expect to have our hands full. I mean, Coach Crudup and those guys over there do a great job, and one bad season doesn't erase that. I mean, had some injuries, had some things going on over there. But, yeah, if we're in that triple option that they can run, I think this year will probably be more of a spread. I know they got, I think, Coach Jones from South Creek, I think, is their offensive coordinator now. So I know they got athletes, and they're going to get him in space, and he's going to throw that ball around. And defensively, they always do a great job against us. So it's an early game. The weather's always a factor. Sometimes we get them, sometimes they get us. It's a nice friendly rivalry. We're looking forward to it. I'm happy they get to come to us this year. I'll open up at home, but yeah, there's no question. It's a great game, and we're happy to be part of it, and we got to be ready to play early. There ain't no question.
Coach, speaking of a rivalry game, this little game they play every year in Edgecombe County called the Function at the Junction. This year, Southwest Edgecombe, you guys got them again last year. They're going to be out hunting for you. What are we going to look at when we see the Cougars this year?
Well, they're going to be a tremendous handful. I already know they got their skilled kids they got over there are phenomenal, and they always have a big offensive line. Jonathan Cobb is going to this is year 2. Sometimes it takes a little time to get your system established, and as a year 1 coach, you learn from your mistakes also. I mean, I've been doing it 10 years, and I still learn from mine. So that's going to be a biggie. I'm sure the stadium will be packed. We may even be the underdog, even being at home. It's going to be tough, and that's always tough. It really don't matter. We can always throw records out against Southwest Edgecombe, but I always look forward to that game. It's just, one of those. I think it brings our county together. It's just 2 quality football teams playing hard, and at the end of the day, we all pat each other on the back and wish each other well and go on to week 5. So it's going to be a toughie.
And, Coach, then when we get into your conference slate, a game that you guys have always played, but the last couple of years now, it's a conference game, and that's North Edgecombe right up the road. 5-0 a season ago. You weren't really challenging conference play. You guys are definitely the hunted when it comes to conference play. North Edgecombe, big running back, Antoine Pittman back this year. What are we looking at when we see the Warriors?
Well, that's a long way away, but I'm sure it's that county rivalry game, and I didn't get a chance to coach against the Pittman boy. I think he hurt a shoulder, and we didn't get to play against him, but I saw him on film, and I know who he is. He's a good-looking athlete, and I hear he's a great kid, so I know what he brings to the table. We don't have anybody like that in our program. We've been blessed to have some of these standout athletes, so I'm not complaining. But I think Southwest has a few now, and North Edgecombe has a few now, and I'll be honest with you, right now Tarboro doesn't, but that's okay. We got a great group of kids that are going to work hard. But last game of the season, you want to finish the conference strong. You want to go into the playoffs, and I think they're coming to us. I think that may be our last home game of the conference, but It'll be a great football game, and hopefully, we'll be playing for a conference championship, and we'll see how it goes.
Folks, Tarboro head coach Jeff Craddock. I'm killing myself here, folks. This is what happens.
Tell Coach Crudup I'm better looking at him. Tell him, get that.
Well, I mean, we're big fans of the beard, so we're already ready for playoff time around here. Folks, Jeff Craddock. Like I don't know the guy anyway. Big thanks for helping us out and joining us today, Coach. Good luck here in the 2014 season, and we look forward to seeing another great season from the Tarboro Vikings.
Right, thank you very much.
Folks, let's send it back to the studio now where I will hang my head in shame for messing this up.
It's okay. Everybody makes mistakes. It's not a big deal.
Folks, we went ahead and did Tarboro first tonight because there's only one way I can go this season, and that's up.
Yep. It all gets better from here.
Well, depending on what you think is better, but anyway.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think there's a few things to hit on. One is kind of the way he talked about the team last year. It looked like there were some communication issues. Maybe not a team that bought into the program as much as maybe in teams past. Maybe a little bit of entitlement had set in. And to be fair, they had gone to 5 straight title games. But you saw it. I was there. You were there against Wallace Rose Hill in the 3rd round. A 35-10 loss. It was dispiriting, was what it was. And really, Rose Hill couldn't let them do anything on offense.
And, really one thing for Tarboro that game, if you really want to get down and technical into it, injuries by that time had really taken a toll on Tarboro. And they never really solved their quarterback situation last year. That's something that they're going to have to figure out this year as well, because that quarterback situation, it is very fluid at the moment. As we said, no one on that varsity team has taken a snap under center. So it is a brand new look for Tarboro this year. The running backs, you come up playing this system. When you live in Tarboro, you come up, you've run the Tarboro T your whole life. They teach it to the youngsters. I don't really think you're going to have a big problem with the running backs. It's just, can you find that game breaker? That's going to be the big thing. You're going to be able to find guys who can run the system and be solid. But what has set Tarboro apart in these state championship runs have been the home run hitter.
Oh, of course.
Have been the guy who can make everything happen.
Todd Gurley.
Obviously Todd Gurley, Roger Bobbitt, our good friend Mr. Robertson in his year, and of course the man going up the middle, Mr. Marshall. I'm just kicking all these M's right in the tail right now. When you have game breakers, it makes life a lot easier.
Oh, yeah.
When you don't have game breakers, at that point you have to start playing much more perfect football. And for Tarboro, that's something we're going to see this year. Now, luckily, that offensive line is intact. It's good. They have a very good base to build on.
Senior running back Deshaun Farmer, 5'10", 160. He ran 50 times for 317 yards last year and 4 touchdowns. Also played defensive back, but that's one of the seniors actually coming back on the skill position side for offense, but not a starter last year, obviously.
So Tarboro, quick rundown of their schedule this year. They open the season. I'll do non-conference. I'll let you do conference.
Sure, thank you.
Non-conference, they open August 22nd with the Friday night high school game of the week here on WHIG TV. They will be taking on the Nash Central Bulldogs, hosting them at home. Doesn't get any easier the next week as they host Washington, a team that won their 2A conference a season ago.
And beat Tarboro last year.
That's right. That was the first regular season loss for Tarboro in a good while.
Yes.
They travel to what should be a much improved Northern Nash on September 5th. Really interested to see that one against Randy Raper. Host Southwest Edgecombe September 12th, a function at the Junction.
We might be there.
Nothing else to say. It's Southwest coming to town. Then they travel to Roanoke Rapids on September 19th. That completes their non-conference portion.
Not just yet.
Oh, good point. I did miss that.
There's maybe what was last year the game of the year.
That's right. Excuse me. Open date September 26th, and then October 3rd they go to Southern Nash.
That's so much fun.
Last year that game was awesome when it was in Tarboro.
24-23 Southern Nash.
Just a great game in Tarboro last year. Southern Nash getting the win this year, the return match going down to Firebird Country, and 2 teams that will have a ton of turnovers. It will not be the same guys.
No, not even close.
It'll be a different one. But that will end their non-conference. at Southern Nash October the 3rd.
As for their conference, they start October 10th at South Creek. October 17th, they'll host Rocky Mount Prep. Then 2 straight road games, October 24th at Riverside Martin, October 31st at Northampton County, and then end the season November 7th at home against North Edgecombe. And then most likely the next week we'll be starting a playoff push that hopefully this year for them goes farther than it did last year.
And we'll have to see. Will the All New Sports Show be bringing you updates on them each and every week, of course, right here. And we will see some Tarboro Viking football this fall. All right, Ed, let's stay in the same county, but let's move up the road a little bit, up a little closer to my neck of the woods of Edgecombe County here.
The other half of the function.
We're talking about Pine Tops, home of the Southwest Edgecombe Cougars, coached this year by second-year head coach Jonathan Cobb. Southwest a season ago. Not bad.
No.
Not great.
No. Some close losses, some big victories. Had a first-round playoff loss against High Point Andrews to end their season. Went 5-7 overall, 2-3 in conference. Not a bad year, though, under first-year head coach Jonathan Cobb.
And what we were told last year would be a rebuilding year.
Yes, and there was still some winnable games. Losing 24-22 at Rocky Mount. Losing 27-14 at Southern Nash in a game that I believe was described to us as Southwest being in until Southern Nash bled it out on a final scoring drive. This is a team that has some pieces. 14-0 against Tarboro. They might be looking to do something this year.
They've got good athletes.
Yes.
They are athletic, which in the past has kind of been their detriment at times. They are strong athletically. They can run. And they've got good depth at their skill positions, which, as compared to Tarboro, Tarboro has no depth. Well, no known depth at this point, I guess we'll say.
I'm sure they've got some people waiting in the wings.
Exactly. But where they are going to struggle maybe defensively, 9 offensive starters back for Southwest, 5 defensive starters back, but they do replace a lot of good players on the defensive side of the football. And as always, a good solid schedule for Southwest Edgecombe. They're going to have their hands full, but I believe we're going to see a step forward this year from Southwest Edgecombe, both record-wise and the product you see on the field. And Jonathan Cobb took some time to sit down with us, invite us into the office, sat down, kicked our feet back.
So nice. It was actually the end of a very long day of previews we went out to, and we went out to Southwest Edgecombe for this interview coming up here. But just a very, very enjoyable time, always amenable to us, even in a second year. None of the braggadociousness you'd expect of someone who is the son of a coaching legend in this area. So very good to see him. But right now, we are going to kick it out to your interview with Southwest Edgecombe head coach Jonathan Cobb. So, Coach Cobb, wearing his amazing white polo shirt. He's great, though, because it's just so much fun. And I think we're going to have that interview coming up for you in just a second here.
Cuyahoga Community College's finest.
It's not great. We're breaking him in, folks. We're breaking in Des. It'll be fine.
Surely.
Yeah, it'll be good.
Ohio State fan.
All right, so let's go out to Southwest Edgecombe.
Office complex of Southwest Edgecombe. We're here with Southwest head coach Jonathan Cobb. Coach, our second season on the job here in Pine Tops, but a place you're pretty familiar with overall, of course. Coach, coming off a 5-7 debut season, 2-3 in the conference. Season had its ups and downs, but I think after one season you were pretty happy with some progress made.
I certainly learned a lot. I had been a head junior varsity coach for quite a number of years, and it's a totally different ball game on the varsity level. There's so much more detail, so much more that has to be involved, and I think I've told a lot of people I learned a lot about what not to do as a varsity football coach last year, as well as a little bit of what I need to get better at. And my staff and I are really looking forward to our second year.
Well, Coach, come in 9 returning offensive starters. You've got 5 back on defense. So, last year you had to blood in some of the kids. But, hey, here in year 2, that might be paying off for you some.
Well, there's probably nothing tougher than taking a high school football team like we did last year and replacing an entire offensive line. my first year, we had no experience on that unit. And so what a blessing my second year to not have to replace any offensive linemen. You know, we've certainly, I think, developed some depth there. We're a year older, a year stronger. Offensively, certainly we have a lot of good backs, a lot of speed. We return all three starting running backs, and in Barry Smith, Marcus Williams, and Devontrell Hyman. We also add to them a very strong junior varsity backfield with Keenan Williams, Trayvon Pittman, and Kanazi Page. All three who I think are going to be great running backs for Southwest on the varsity level. There's two positions on offense that we are starting over again. That's quarterback and the right tight end position. We lost Fabian Bandy at right tight end, and he was a great high school football player for us. And, of course, we lost Tyquavius Wooten, who was a three-year starter at quarterback. But we're looking forward to, a change at that position. We certainly have a couple candidates who are working for the job. The junior varsity quarterback, Tucker Pridgeon, as well as a tight end, sophomore tight end from our varsity squad last year, Quantellis Norwood. Both of those guys are tall. Norwood 6'3", and Pridgeon 6'4". Both of them have great arms. They're both great leaders. As far as the tight end position goes, that where we lost a good player, we have rolled an offensive lineman over to that position who had quite a bit of playing time on the varsity last year. So we feel like we'll be a lot stronger across the front.
Coach, talk about two quarterback candidates with great arms. Offensively this year, year two, once again, what are we going to look at offensively? We're going to see some things expand a little more. Of course, the wishbone has been the bread and butter here for a long time. Last year, you guys were a little more multiple than you have been in the past. Year two, kind of, like we said, moving in a little bit.
Probably be very similar to last year. Certainly the wishbone is a staple of our program. Depending on which individual wins the quarterback job, probably depends on what we do. Offensively, the JV quarterback, the tall 6'4" kid, Tucker Pridgeon, is really an idealistic pro-style quarterback. Norwood kid, a little more mobile. When Brian Foster watches this, I say, Brian, prepare for the same exact thing you saw last year. That's what you're going to get. And I think he'll laugh at that.
Of course, you are what you're going to get from. And Coach, that'll take us right into what we're going to talk about now. One thing we're kind of harping on, we've gone through everybody's schedule, and we're taking 3 games that really stick out to us that for our viewing area are going to be really big ball games. And, hey, we'll start right off there. August 22nd, you open the season home against Southern Nash, one that last year came down to the wire.
Well, it did. It's 27-14. And we fought our tails off. We had a young football team over there. They had a massive, experienced, well-coached squad, and I really was proud of our guys for the way we fought. I think this year we're going to have another very, very well-coached football team come over here. Coach Foster does such a great job. He's been there. His program is just rolling along. I have so much respect for him and his kids. They're always going to be big. They're always going to be strong. What they do offensively is so hard to stop. It's a completely different game plan than you have any other week of the season.
You're right.
And I've cursed my dad a few times for putting them first on the schedule because you have to stop everything you're doing defensively and prepare for that Firebird offense. Of course, Coach Foster also is a renowned defensive guy.
Yes, he is.
So we're going to have our hands full, and we're excited about it.
Absolutely. Well, for the kids especially, having a big game right out the gate, you've got their focus from day one.
Absolutely.
Where it's not two, what you might say, smaller teams, and then you're having to build up to it. No, you've got them day one. Hey, guys, Southern Nash will be here, and you're going to start next Friday or August the 1st, actually. It's going to be your first practice. You say, guys, 3 weeks. Southern Nash is coming.
Well, we get to find out what we're made of right off the bat.
There you go. Very physical. The next one, of course, this is one has a little bit of interest here in Edgecombe County every year. You know, a couple people usually show up for it. You travel to Tarboro this year on September the 12th. Some say a rebuilding Tarboro squad. The boat's somewhat similar to yours. He brings back his offensive line. That's about it. Jeff Craddock really having to start from scratch with that group.
Well, you know, they're not rebuilding in Tarboro. They're reloading every year.
Well, Jeff would be sure to tell you they're rebuilding.
I'm sure he would. I'm sure he would. They had one of the best university squads that I've seen around in a long time. So I suspect nothing less than a solid Tarboro Viking squad. And what a tough place to go play. It is a tough place to go play over there on that field. And so that certainly that date has a circle on our calendar and it has a circle on theirs. That we're rivals, and you know, right now we're worried about Southern Nash.
Of course. Well then, Coach Cobb, to end your regular season, a trip over to Beddingfield. From what we hear from Coach over at Beddingfield, very good offensive skill players this year. And for you guys, that is, you circle that one. That's going to be two teams who are definitely going to be shooting for playoff spots this year, Beddingfield Southwest. And seeding or even a playoff spot could be on the line in that ballgame.
Absolutely. You know, last year they came over here and they had great skill players. They're all underclassmen. They're good at what they do. They've got a mobile quarterback, several tall, fast receivers, pretty good running back coming back, I think. And so we certainly know. I think our conference is going to be very good this year. I'm going to tell you something. Bedingfield's going to be outstanding. Farmville Central is going to be outstanding.
Yes, they are.
Washington certainly is going to be Washington. And so I think our conference will be very tough and very fun.
Very good. Coach, thank you for taking a little time out of your busy schedule to sit down and chat with us for a little bit. We always enjoy our trips over here to Southwest. Me especially, because now I get to go home and it's only 5 minutes away. So that works well for me. Coach, thank you so much for having us. We look forward to seeing you guys at least a couple times this year. I know we'll definitely be over at Tarboro for that game, and I believe we've got you guys one more scheduled on there. I think so. So good luck on the 2014 season.
All right.
We look forward to seeing you.
Thank you.
Coach Jonathan Cobb, Southwest Edgecombe, they are ready to rock and roll. We're going to send it back now to the studio. Beverly? What? Oh, Chester.
We got to kind of do the show.
Okay, yes. Okay. Palomino. They're beautiful. No, really. No, they are gorgeous.
Do you want to do the show now?
No, I've got all the time in the world to talk. Beverly, I'll call you back.
Beverly has a very male voice.
Leave Beverly out.
Is there something you want to tell us, Ronaldo?
Folks, we're going to take a commercial break tonight. Big thanks to Coach Jonathan Cobb. Real quick, before we take that commercial break, let's run down that Southwest Edgecombe schedule. Southern Nash, they kick it off at home August 22nd. August 29th at North Edgecombe. September 5th at Green Central. September 12th at Tarboro. So 3 straight games on the road, non-conference play. September 19th, home game against Rocky Mount. And much like Tarboro, they're taking that open week September 26th. And then October 3rd, they finish up their non-conference schedule, a home game and endowment game against East Carteret.
I think that's going to be a lot of fun. Then conference play starts October 10th again for them. North Pitt at home, then at Washington, home for Farmville Central, home for North Johnston, and then at Beddingfield. Those are 2 teams, of course, you know will be looking to make a move in the standings. Last year, a conference that was won by Washington. Beddingfield finished 2nd at 4-1. Southwest mid-table at 2-3. So they're going to be looking to make that leap this year.
And real quick, since this is our only, well, we've got Beddingfield in there, but just to take a quick look, maybe we won't take that quick look. Let's just say I believe Southwest is moving up, personally.
Yes.
I think this is a team that is on the rise. I believe you're going to get better than a 4th place finish out of this group. I think this is a group that could actually challenge for the conference championship in the Eastern Plains, and taking a quick look at what they think about the Eastern Plains here in NC Preps. They have Washington 1, Bedingfield 2, Farmville Central 3, Southwest Edgecombe, North Pitt, North Johnston.
So they just took last year's standings and moved them in.
Exactly. I disagree with that. But we will see.
We'll see. It's going to be fun.
For a good year from Coach John Cobb. All right, folks, it is time to take a commercial break now. Big thanks to our sponsor, of course, Roger G. Taylor and Associates, principal title sponsor you see every week. Other guys that are coming down periodically at the bottom of the screen, they're your ones that definitely keep an eye on as well. Please, if you get the chance to patronize any of our sponsors, please patronize them.
Yes.
Totally use that word wrong, didn't I?
No, you're great.
Good, I'm on there.
You're fantastic.
All right, folks. Commercial time because we have to regroup. We'll be right back with more of the All New Sports Show on WHIG TV.
The new place is perfect, or at least it will be, with a little help from Dex. In the book or at DexKnows.com. Dex can help you get results fast and deliver the best local advice so you can get it done right here, right now.
We should do this more often.
Dex, results for the here and now.
Good day, Eastern Carolina. It's Mike Keffer at Mike Keffer on the 301 bypass between Rocky Mount and Wilson. How do you roll? The summer clearance event continues on all new Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, and Ram trucks. As part of the Keffer Automotive Group, we offer dealer group volume pricing without driving to the big city. Large selection, easy purchase experience, extended service hours, and fast oil changes are a few of the reasons to shop in Rocky Mount. Call 855-BUY-KEFFER or shop online 24/7 at MikeKeffer.com.
Welcome back to Season 3 of the All New Sports Show.
Season of serious.
Yes.
And we have been somewhat serious through
Not the constellation.
some of this tonight. But overall, folks, we're having fun. We are back. High school football is back on the map.
So
Practice
much
started on Friday. And that means it was time for us to start back. So we're back here on the All New Sports Show. The All New Sports Show brought each and every week by Roger G. Taylor and Associates. Big thanks to those guys for everything they do. Also our sponsors at the bottom of the screen that you will see periodically scrolling through the show. Ed, real quick, put us over on social media.
Of course. Real quick again, and you'll see these later on in the bottom of the screen as well. Twitter, at All New Sports Show. Facebook is facebook.com/allnewsportsshow. You can get us on YouTube, where you can, of course, catch full episodes, youtube.com/theallnewsportsshow. Instagram, instagram.com/allnewsportsshow. Email us, allnewsportsshow@gmail.com. Send your physical mail, 1701 Sunset Avenue, Suite 201, Rocky Mount, North Carolina, 27804. I got it. Click on everything you see. If you're watching us on Ustream right now, which is probably the only way you can be watching us right now, there's a whole bunch of things above my hand here. Click on those links when we're not on, and go see all the other great stuff. Right up there. Everything here is great. And on ESPN FC.
Sure. All right, folks, let's head back to the Two Rivers Conference, Two Rivers 1A Conference. It is now time. We're going to talk about the Warriors of North Edgecombe High School under the direction of head coach Keith Parisher. Ed, this is a program, and we kind of got this the other day as well, that kind of makes you cringe a little bit.
Yes.
The numbers are not great at North Edgecombe.
No.
And then when you take a look at the team returning, only 7 returning lettermen, but somehow 12 returning starters. What that means is there are a lot of guys going both ways.
Yes. Yes.
Now, luckily for North Edgecombe, they may have the best running back in Nash, Edgecombe, or even, well, I'm not going to go Wilson County because of the fight group. Yeah. But in Nash or Edgecombe County, they may have the best running back, and that's junior Antoine Pittman, 6 foot, 215 pounds. He is an absolute beast. Last season, only in only 8 games.
This is impressive.
He ran for nearly 1,700 yards with 18 touchdowns. Folks, that's behind what's not a great offensive line.
Well, the good thing about that is their entire offensive line is returning. One of those guys, 6'3", 15-pound lineman, Traquan Harris, who was all-area and all-conference last year. And you talk about going two ways. Harris also had 73 tackles as a defensive lineman last year.
Then they have a sophomore, Ahmad Lyons, who played a little bit on the varsity at the end of the year. He's going to be another running back, kind of a change of pace guy. But for North Edgecombe, early on, like we said, the numbers we heard were not great that have come out early. That's really a little disheartening for got to be for Coach Keith Parisher. North Edgecombe, a proud small 1A school program, and hey, Raymond Cobb won, I believe, a couple of state championships there.
I mean, even if you go back just to like 2003 when they made it to the state championship, going 15-1. The year before that, 10-5. The year before that, 11-4. 2 years before that, 11-2. All those years also conference champions. And still, over the last 5 years, no amazing teams, although they did win the conference in 2011. But you're talking about a 500 club or better still. There's been no real terrible years.
No, and this year's going to be interesting. Like we said, they've got talent. They definitely have some talented players. Will they have the depth to really survive this
Which
season?
has been something that's always plagued Northern Nash, and we've seen how that affects them.
That's right, and also some of the smaller schools, especially in the northeastern part of the state. My favorite school ever, Kit Pride.
Yes.
Kit Pride's always going to forfeit 1 or 2 games a year just because they don't have numbers. For North Edgecombe, you hope this does not become a trend, and hopefully you're hoping this week that more kids are going to show up for practice.
Absolutely.
Get some things going for them. But Ed, you had a chance to go out to North Edgecombe, have a chat with head coach Keith Parisher.
I did. It was a lovely chat we had with Coach Keith Parisher in his lovely orange polo. The kids had been there working out. He had said that they had been having between 16 to 20 people out there on the summer. That's not during practices. That's just coming in during days, lifting, getting better. And he said, I'll go ahead and spoil a little bit right now, one thing he liked with the extra numbers is that the guys go ahead and have started learning the system a little more. So instead of on day one of official practice, they have to go over everything. Now they can get right into route running with the receivers. So, but for right now, we're going to let him talk to you a little bit more about what else is going on at North Edgecombe as we interview head coach Keith Parisher. At North Edgecombe High School with third-year head coach Keith Parisher. Coach, we've been covering you since pretty much you took over this North Edgecombe program. Been a slow rebuild. You've had 2 good seasons so far. What are we looking to in season 3 with Coach Parisher?
Well, we've got 6 starters returning on offense. So really, I think I got to replace a couple of linemen, but we should be, as far as the backfield and all, we should be more experienced this year. Defensively, I only have 5 guys returning. So the same problem we've had the last couple of years. I've got to find some people that can play linebacker. And linebacker, defensive end, that's basically what we lost last year.
Well, you came from the JV side. Did you know of any other guys that might be coming through those ranks that can fill out that linebacking side this year?
Well, we got a couple kids that are be sophomores this year that'll be moving up. That hopefully they're ready to take that job and step in and fulfill that position. They had a good season last year, and they have a lot of experience. They've been playing since they were 8, 9, 10 years old, most of that group. So, again, most of them, I mean, every year it seems like, say we're young, but we're still young. We still, I think I have like 4 seniors this year, and the rest are be juniors and sophomores.
Talk about that challenge of being young every year and trying to keep building it up with such a young group.
Well, it starts with the JV program, and Coach Miller does a great job with that, and that helps me out tremendously. Adrian does a great job over at the middle school running our offense, and so when we get them, it's not so much as teaching, it's refining what they need to know at the varsity level.
Now you're talking about the guys returning on defense, the guys returning on offense. One of your returning offensive players might be one of the best players in the area that most people probably don't really know about. Would you tell the people at home about him?
Well, Antoine is a hard worker. He's had a lot of success. as a running back, and hopefully he's worked hard to get faster and stronger this off season, and I think that'll pay dividends for him this year. We'll have a number of backs that can play alongside him, and hopefully we'll be approved at the quarterback position because Jacoby's second year there, and take some pressure off Antoine, not to have to carry the whole offensive load on his shoulders.
What does it say about your program now that you're coming back? There's been a program that's been great for a long time. You've been here a long time, and you've seen that. And now to have some of those great players, especially in Edgecombe County, with as much has been talked about Tarboro over the past 5 to 10 years, to have maybe the best player in your area right now, along with now some good quarterbacks.
Well, it's like anything. All high schools run through cycles where you have good players, and then you're going to be down a couple of years, and it seems like we've been down. I mean, we had a really good season it's been about 6 years ago. We lost in the Eastern Championship. So we've had some good players along the way. We just hadn't had a group of good players that were together. We may have one great player and then just average players. And this year I think we've got a group of players that are basically at the same level.
Well, Coach, tell us about how the summer's been going, and we're getting close now to the start of official practices. Tell us just about how that's been going.
Well, workouts have been going good. We've been we switched this year to working out in the morning, so we could get it in before the heat got here. So we've been going from 8 to 10:30 every morning, and we've had 18 to 20 guys show up. Sometimes when they go, we have different ones at different times because of vacations and stuff. But it's been pretty well run this summer, and it keeps getting better from when I started, when we used to have 6 to 8 show up for workouts. So they're buying into the program now.
Talk about what that means just for you personally to have the guys now that you're seeing triple the numbers come out in the summer, and what that means for you.
Well, it just means that we can get a lot more done, and starting Friday, we don't have to do so much teaching as we do, just getting ready to play, because we can work on the basic stuff in the summertime, handoffs, pass routes, simple stuff like that they know going in, so we don't have to spend as much time teaching those when we start on Friday. So that makes it a lot easier for my assistant coaches and for me to get to more stuff earlier than we've been getting to it. Because usually we were waiting to wait August 1st to be able to teach these things. You had 1 or 2 players that knew the offense, and then you had to teach it to everybody else. Right. And they get frustrated because they know the offense, and so what we were doing was boring to them, but we had to do it because of the rest of them didn't know the program.
All right, well, what we're doing here with these previews is we're taking some time to point out 3 of the big games coming up on your schedule this year, and we'll do one non-conference and 2 conference games for you. Obviously, one of your big non-conference games is going to be against Southwest Edgecombe. We'll be here for that. That's going to be here at North Edgecombe this year. I believe the second week of the season.
The second week of the season.
Obviously, that's always a big rivalry game, and now they have a second-year coach in Jonathan Cobb, third-year coach here. Obviously, 2 very strong teams looking at going into this season. What are your thoughts heading into that game?
Well, we got to do a better job than we did last year tackling. They got a couple of good running backs that are coming back that we had trouble with last year. And early on last year, we let it get out of hand, and we just wanted to stay in the game and have a chance at the end of the 4th quarter to win it. Jonathan does a great job over there. I've known him since he was about 4 years old. So, he does a great job.
Well, there's also 2 big conference games, of course, on your schedule with teams that might be going in a little opposite directions. Rocky Mount Prep, obviously a very new program, but they started to get a little momentum with 2 wins last year. And then Tarboro, who, of course, has been so strong, but this year the word is maybe a little down from years past. Talk about those 2 conference games.
Well, Rocky Mount Prep, they got a new head coach this year, and very familiar with him because I coached with him and under him here at North Edgecombe. I know Coach Boyd will do a good job with the program over there, and so it'll be some familiar stuff that he'll be doing. But I understand that he's had a pretty good summer talking with him the other week, and so I look for them to be improved.
And then as for the Tarboro game?
Tarboro game, they're always going to be tough. They're going to be really young at quarterback. But other than that, I mean, you know, it's hard to replace a Rajay Bobbitt.
Of course.
But he's got some running backs that can run. And they'll be tough to beat in our conference. I look for them to be at the top of the conference again this year, even though they may be having a down year. But other teams in the conference that were toward the top last year lost some key players, and they're gonna have to redo their offense and redo some things too. So,
well, it sounds like with maybe some losses at the top, maybe this is the year North Edgecombe really steps up with those great players.
We look to increase our competition, and so we added Princeton to our schedule, and they've got one of the premier running backs in the state.
Yes, sir.
And so, you know, it's always been my theory: if you want to get better, you got to play better teams, not play teams you know you can beat. So we put them on the schedule to play them, and hopefully that'll help us come playoff time.
Absolutely. Well, we'll look forward to seeing you make a playoff run this year, and best of luck in Season 3 here as the head coach at North Edgecombe. Coach Perisher, thanks so much for talking to us today.
You.
And now we are going to kick it back to the studio. Season 3 for him, Season 3 for us.
There you go. We're on a timeline together.
Yeah.
See which way North Edgecombe goes in Season 3.
Yeah.
And which way we go in Season 3.
We're getting more serious, obviously. I think they're starting to get more serious, too. You heard about him, as we mentioned earlier, talking about the numbers getting a little better. One thing you did mention when we were talking about earlier is the numbers, though. And one thing that has come up every once in a while is, what if you combine Tarboro and North Edgecombe? And I know there's a lot of people out there that don't want to hear that, but I think that's something that needs to be that's an issue that is coming up more and more now, especially with these kind of numbers.
I don't think Jeff Craddock will not having Antoine Pittman too much
Well,
in his back.
Right now, no, not at all.
Not at all. I mean, there's really nothing to say about it. It's been a rumor going around a long time in Edgecombe County that may happen. It's one of those believe it when you see it kind of things. But take a quick look at North Edgecombe coming over the season non-conference schedule on August 22nd. They open up at home with Northwest Halifax. On August 29th, they welcome Southwest Edgecombe. Jonathan Cobb makes his return from his days as a ball boy to North Edgecombe as a head coach. September 5th at Princeton. And why does that mean something? Because Princeton may have the best running back in America. A young man named Johnny Frazier. Offers from all over the country.
He's really
he
good.
is an absolute stud.
That's going to be a fun running back matchup in that game.
Oh, yeah, no doubt. Antoine and Johnny Frazier, one to keep your eye on. If you're looking for a game, just somewhere to go September 5th. Princeton, not too far away, just right down in Johnston County. Hey, might be a reason, might be fun. September 12th, they host Southeast Halifax. And then trip to Weldon on September 19th. And then to take on the mighty Kit Pride, September 26th, before the open week.
Coming off the open week, they hit conference play. First, they travel to Rocky Mount Prep. That could be an interesting game. Rocky Mount keeps coming up a little bit. See if they can make it a little closer than last year in a game that I believe ended, 42-6 in a North Edgecombe win. We'll see how that goes. Riverside Martin's next up. That'll be at North Edgecombe. Then they go back on the road to Northampton County. They'll be at home for South Creek on October 31st. And then, as Coach Berisher mentioned, at Tarboro to end the season, November 7th. Again, North Edgecombe last year, 5-6, 2-3 in conference. And unfortunately, they didn't play a lot of close games. One of their closest games was non-conference and a loss at Southeast Halifax, 22-14. But their wins, 42-6 over Prep, 24-6 at South Creek. But the losses, 56-14 Riverside Martin, 42-14 Northampton County, 47-0 Tarboro. Those are the games. They need to start making some progress more towards the mean. They need to have those losses be closer. And I think that's where you can see the progress being made.
Totally agree. And that will wrap up our preview of North Edgecombe here for 2014. hey, Antoine Pittman, definitely a guy for everyone to keep their eye on this year.
Yes.
All right, Evan, let's head to our final preview of the night. Preview number 4, Rocky Mount Prep. And, hey, what's new at Rocky Mount Prep?
New coach.
New coach. Gone is Don Reams. Don Reams.
Old coach, though.
Yeah, it's kind of one you know.
Yeah.
Don Reams back on the Tarboro staff, actually, this year.
Yes.
So he's no longer at Rocky Mount Prep. Great pickup, obviously, for Jeff Craig.
He couldn't get Antoine Pittman.
He couldn't get Antoine Pittman. But he does get Don Reams. Not a bad consolation prize, I guess. Danny Ward, your new coach at Rocky Mount Prep.
Team that brings back 15 lettermen from last year's 2-10 squad, 3 offensive starters, 3 defensive starters. But really, again, when you talk about Prep, a school that's only been around 2 years, picked up their first 2 wins last year of their program's history, including their first conference win. And I think again, this is a team where you want to see them playing closer games. You might not see a spike in win totals this year. I think if they can get back to 2, I think that'd be an accomplishment, even maybe squeaking out a 3rd one. You talk about Kip Pride. They played them twice last year.
Kippers.
Didn't beat them both times. Beat them once. Didn't beat them the second time. You did see more scoring last year, including putting up 30 against Kip Pride, 38 in a conference win against South Creek. But, just some of the scores they're giving up against Tarboro, 78, against Riverside Martin, giving up 80. I mean, these are the numbers they got to bring down. They got to do it, again, 2-10, 1-4 in conference. Did go to a playoff game because that's kind of how 1A is at this point. So that's unfortunate that they had to take that kind of loss also to Southeast Halifax, 62-0 to end the season. But this is, again, a team you got to see progress. And under first-year coach Danny Ward used to be the coach at North Edgecombe after Raymond Cobb. So there is some experience there. He had winning seasons at North Edgecombe. He does bring a winning pedigree, and again, so did Don Reams. So there is, I think we can see strides, but I don't know, even in Season 3, how big those strides are going to be for Prep.
Well, and the thing is, when you're building a program from the ground up, and it's a prep school, we look out towards Charlotte, and you and I, of course, in Charlotte this weekend.
Yes.
I've totally just lost my school up there.
Mallard Creek.
Mallard Creek, that's right. Mallard Creek's only about 4 or 5 years old. Last year, they're the 4AA state champions.
Well, and even then,
it's a little different.
There's another, Riverside Martin, Riverside Martin, Northampton County. They've only been around for 2 years so far. Years of 11-3, 9-4.
And of course, Northampton County, what they were, Northampton East, Northampton West, it was a merger school.
Right.
Even Riverside Martin, that was a merger school deal. Rocky Mount Prep was built from the ground up. There was no merger. And it's an open enrollment sort of style.
It's a charter school.
It's not like you're guaranteed this number of kids that you're going to get.
Right.
You can think you've got kids coming back the next year, and they just decide to go somewhere else.
And it's a feast or famine situation. We saw with basketball at Rocky Mount Prep. They go to a state title game, and then the next year they're just not as good.
It's not an easy place to coach. So you got to give a ton of credit to Don Reams for the program he was able to build, and now Danny Ward, a guy who has a lot of experience. Now it's his job to take the reins. And hey, let's try to take that next step. And Ed, you had a chance to go sit down with Coach Ward.
Well, we stood up, but we were.
Was it a fireside chat?
No, it was not a fireside.
No fireside. Okay.
No fireside chat out at Rocky Mount Prep for my interview with Coach Danny Ward. But he was very accommodating for me, as he always has been. He was actually one of my first interviews I ever did with coming here to the station. So me and producer Des sharing a little bit of that. His first show, Ward was my first interview. So it's a lot of fun. I know. It's Ohio State. It's great. But as for right now, though, we are going to kick it out to Rocky Mount Prep, where I was able to interview head coach Danny Ward. All right, guys, we are now out here at Rocky Mount Prep with Rocky Mount Prep first-year head coach Danny Ward. Of course, no stranger to our area. You've been the head coach over at North Edgecombe as well. Coach, what are your early thoughts going into this season for Prep?
Well, we just want to try to continue building like we've been doing, trying to do better than we did last year, and trying to create some excitement about having a few home games this year at the stadium. So it's we're taking it day by day.
Well, great. I mean, of course, no wins in your first season, but 2 wins last year. Obviously looking to build on that. Who are some of the returning guys that the folks out there can look to see when they come out to see prep play?
Well, of course, we have Mark Tan back. He was very explosive offensively last year. Ethan Keeter, he's one of our returning linemen. He's worked hard, and he's very excited. And of course, he's going to be one of the captains. David Webb is another one that's he's going to be a junior this year who has played a couple years. So we're hoping that with Ethan, David, Mark, and Keyshawn Hines, those guys who been it while they was young, can benefit some fruits now from all the work they did.
Well, that would be great. And as we said, you came over, you were formerly at North Edgecombe, and had some great success there. What are you hoping that you can bring in from your time there and in your other jobs to help you out here at Prep?
Well, I guess one of the good things, the guys, the players here at Prep, they remembered what I did at North Edgecombe, so they were kind of excited about, being able to do some of the things that we did at North Edgecombe, being a small school and kind of competing with some of the more established programs. But we're hoping that we can get our own identity, but get some of the success that some of the area teams and we had at North Edgecombe.
Do you see a lot of the similarities now that you've taken over here between here and North Edgecombe? Obviously, this is a charter school, but still, what you mentioned about the size of it.
Right. The biggest difference I see now, there is no history of football here, so these guys really have nothing to draw on. So we got to establish some history. Okay. So right now they're using other people's history. They're using my history, and using history of their former coach, and of course, programs like Tarboro and North Edgecombe that had success. So we're trying to make our own history here.
Have you noticed any difference just with the difference in the charter school and being able to draw athletes from a much broader range than you would normally at a public school?
There are some difference because they are spread out. They come from all over the place, so they're not like from just one community. So I guess there are some good and bad. The good about it, we're getting people from all different directions. The bad is they just come from so many different communities, so we have to build that comradeship with each other. So we're trying to establish that family atmosphere, which they kind of don't have it right now. Okay. They have their friends, but there are so many different communities that we're trying to bring those communities together.
Oh, excellent. As we've been doing here at the rest of our coach interviews, we like to bring 3 games that we're really looking forward to on your schedule. 1 non-conference, 2 conference games, 1 non-conference game that I'm sure we'll be really looking forward to later this year. Actually, let me get your opinion. What would be your non-conference game you'd be most looking forward to?
I've been out of it for a couple of years, but we definitely want to play well with the school outside. Your Kip Prize, we got Word of God that's in it the first time. I know they played at Rocky Mountain Academy last year in the 8-man football. But at the same time, your Lewisburg and your Granville schools, they'll give us some kind of measuring stick. So I don't really have a preference. I don't really have a game that I'm really saying, okay, that's the game, we're going to do this and that, because we're going to try to use these non-conference games to better ourselves, to build towards the conference games, and try to hopefully get into the playoff and make some things happen.
And you mentioned Kip Pride, and that was one of your wins last year, so hopefully we'll be able to repeat that again, as well as a couple others this year. And of course, the 2 conference games that our area would be interested in with the other area schools, of course, North Edgecombe and Tarboro. I know those will be 2 tough games, but just do you have any early thoughts on those?
Well, Tarboro, that name speaks for itself, so we know that's going to be a challenge. North Edgecombe, they have an established program. They got a great track program that they pull from as far as the football program, so we know that they're going to have some hard runners, some fast runners, and so we are hoping to be able to at least compete with North Edgecombe since they're about our size, and Tarboro, we'll see.
All right. Well, we know you have a lot of success coming from North Edgecombe, so hopefully you'll be able to bring a little bit of that here to Rocky Mountain Prep and really establish some history like you were talking about.
We hope to do that.
All right, Coach Ward, thank you so much for taking time out of your busy schedule today and talking to us, and best of luck this upcoming season.
Thank you. Thank you for coming out here and letting us know that y'all out there for us.
Of course. We'll always be out here for you. Hopefully we'll get to see you at least 1 game this year.
All right.
And right now, though, we're going to toss it back to the studio.
All right.
Great. talking with Coach Danny Ward. Good to see Coach Ward back on the
Yes,
sideline.
absolutely.
In a head coach capacity. Good guy, one of the good guys definitely in area football over the years. I don't know. It's
going to be tough.
It's just going to be tough.
It's going to be very tough.
That's the only thing you really say for Rocky Mount Prep. As we say, the continuity, that's going to be the interesting thing. Is there continuity coming across? Is there going to be true building? They returned their quarterback, Mark Tan. Tan had some great moments last year. That's a guy to definitely build around. And they got a monster offensive tackle in Jesse Richardson, 6'5", 370.
It's a big boy.
That's a lot for a high school kid.
It's very large.
That's a big boy. I've had these talks before.
Yes.
But, he's a big kid. Running backs can get lost behind a kid that big. I'll just put it there. It's not going to be easy. Kit Pride, they play them twice. August 22nd, they open at Kit Pride. And Kit Pride right now, folks, as much as I do love Kit Pride, that's my favorite team of all time. They are actually going through some tragedy right now. Their head coach, Diego Hasty, well known around the northeastern part of the state, former coach at, I want to say Northampton West, and also Hertford County, just passed away recently. So for Kit Pride, you don't know what you're going to get from Kit Pride. They open at Kit Pride. That's a good chance to get a win. Granville Central coming in. Lewisburg in an endowment game. That'll be interesting. Chris Lee, former Rocky Mount assistant. It should be a solid Lewisburg team for an endowment game. Open date September 12th. Then they host Kit Pride. Then they travel to Southeast Halifax, team that beat them in the playoffs last year.
Yes.
Then an open date, and then they kick off conference.
Yep, October 10th, they start at home against North Edgecombe, then 2 straight on the road, October 17th at Tarboro, October 24th at South Creek, October 31st they come back home for the end of the season with Riverside Martin, and then Northampton County.
With the conclusion of Rocky Mount Prep's preview here, those are all 3 of our 2 Rivers Conference teams. So we're going to give you what North Carolina Prep's ncpreps.com, their predictions this year for 2014 in the 2 Rivers Conference. They do have a Player of the Year, and they're the way they have them predicted for finish. Tarboro winning the conference, I think that's pretty much a given. Riverside Martin, if somebody's going to get Tarboro, it's going to be Riverside Martin. I'm just going to leave it at that. Northampton should be good again. North Edgecombe, we've talked about them. South Creek, new coach there. Jeremy Jones, their former coach, now offensive coordinator at Nash Central.
Wow. Okay.
So they're going through some growing pains, having to break in a new coach there. And 6th, Rocky Mount Prep being picked in the 2 Rivers Conference. 2 Rivers Player of the Year preseason, North Edgecomb's Antoine Pippin.
He's going to be fun to see.
So that's awesome for that kid. Get a little Explosion. I didn't even mean to say it. I said
exposure. It's better than exposure.
He's going to get some exposure statewide out of this publication that we speak of. So that's your look at week 1 here of our preview. That's your look at the 2 Rivers Conference. Once again, big thanks, NC Preps. Pick up the book. Let's say you can order it off their website, ncpreps.com. I picked mine up at Omega Sports in Greenville. Great publication. Great piece to have on your person this year when you're going to the football games on Friday nights. If you want to wow your friends and maybe make $1 million. I don't know, that would help you. All right, Ed. Of course, this is the All New Sports Show. We're brought to you each and every week by Roger G. Taylor Associates, along with a venerable list at the bottom of our sponsors. And also, Ed, they can find us on our social media.
Of course, at All New Sports Show for Twitter, Facebook.com/All New Sports Show, YouTube.com/The All New Sports Show. Email us allnewsportsshow@gmail.com. Go to Podbean.com or iTunes for our podcast.
Folks, coming up next week here on the All New Sports Show, Paul Durham, Jimmy Lewis looking to join us from the Wilson Times. This next week will be our Wilson preview. That's right, Hunt, Fight, Bettingfield, and Rocky Mount Academy.
Defending state champion Rocky Mount Academy.
State champ of the 8-man league, Rocky Mount Academy. We're looking to get a hold of B.W. Holt sometime this week, talk to him, and take a look for those guys next week. Now, Ed, just to let you folks know, there is a little more coming up here. We still have 60 seconds of soccer. Even though it's going to be a little longer than 60 seconds, we just to set it up before we go to commercial break, Ed, you and I took a trip this week. Took a little trip out west, down near the border for South Carolina, and we went to Bank of America Stadium, and we saw the mighty Liverpool Reds take on itty-bitty, scrappy AC Milan, who has absolutely no history, right?
Yeah, sure.
4 or 5 European titles. In the final group stage match of the Guinness International
Champions Cup.
Obviously the most prestigious trophy on earth. Liverpool got the victory 2-0, and we just had a great time. We went as official media representatives of you, the All New Sports Show viewership. We had a great time there. You are going to see, we're going to start from the press box. Then you're going to catch us down in the interview room. A little Italian in there for you international folks.
Not a little Welsh.
Pippo Inzaghi. And then the Northern Irish Merseyside maestro, Brendan Rodgers, whose hand I shook on the way out, and gave him a good old Eastern North Carolina good game, coach.
And I actually asked him a question.
And then asked him a question, and then afterwards, folks, we will wrap up the show from the press room under Bank of America Stadium.
Yes.
With the background, beautiful background that we tried to steal but couldn't get into the car. Anyway, let's go to commercial break. When we come back, 60 seconds of soccer on the All New Sports Show, brought to you each and every week by Roger G. Taylor and Associates here on WHIG TV.
The new place is perfect, or at least it will be, with a little help from Dex. In the book or at DexKnows.com. Dex can help you get results fast and deliver the best local advice so you can get it done right. Right here, right now.
We should do this more often.
Dex, results for the here and now.
Good day, Eastern Carolina. It's Mike Keffer at Mike Keffer on the 301 bypass between Rocky Mount and Wilson. How do you roll? The summer clearance event continues on all new Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, and Ram trucks. As part of the Keffer Automotive Group, we offer dealer group volume pricing without driving to the big city. Large selection, easy purchase experience, extended service hours, and fast oil changes are a few of the reasons to shop in Rocky Mount. Call 855-BUY-KEFFER or shop online 24/7 at MikeKeffer.com.
Folks, as we promised you earlier here on the All New Sports Show, we are now coming to you via the magic of videotape from Bank of America Stadium in Charlotte, North Carolina, where, Ed, you and I are about to see Liverpool and AC Milan go head-to-head.
Titans of world football.
Here in the final group match for Group B of the Guinness
Champions Cup.
Yeah, Champions Cup, whatever they're called.
Guinness.
Guinness International Champions Cup. That's where we are, folks. We are here. We are in the press box. Just saying hello to everyone. Of course, we hope you've enjoyed part one of our three-part high school football preview for the National Cup Wilson County area. Big thanks to all our guests tonight who were able to join us. And Ed, we had a fun 60 seconds of soccer earlier.
But we had to expand.
Exactly, we got to expand because, folks, it's not every day that we get to see two giants of the world game go head-to-head like we're about to see with Liverpool and AC Milan. So we're coming to you now from up here. We're going to check in. The next place you see us is going to be somewhere different.
Yes.
Can't tell you where it's going to be yet because we don't know where we're going. So that's the fun of it. That's fun of it. That's what we do, folks.
I love it, though.
So this is our soccer trip for 2014.
Yes, hopefully we'll be bringing you maybe some interviews in the mixed zone.
Oh, you never know because we don't know what they're going to let us do down there.
Who knows?
They might tell us to go away, Yankee pig dogs.
TV badge.
But we'll see. We do have the TV badge, but it also says no field access. So, folks, we're going to take a quick one. When we come back, we're going to be somewhere else.
Traduzione. Noce.
Good evening, sorry. This Italian question first, please. Thank you.
Mister, risultato 2-0, d'accordo, però comunque oggi segnali di crescita a maggior ragione se ne sono visti anche nella fase difensiva. Oggi i 2 gol sono arrivati per 2 disattenzioni o loro individuali.
Sì, no, sono contento, dispiace per il 2-0, immeritato, però insomma era la risposta che aspettavo. Adesso non possiamo guardare il risultato perché, come dicevo ieri, contro queste squadre siamo troppo distanti, però oggi c'è stata una bella reazione, sono molto contento dei miei ragazzi, insomma purtroppo anche oggi non ricordo una parata del nostro portiere e del loro qualcuno l'ho vista, insomma siamo negli episodi, abbiamo preso 2 gol strani per 2 disimpegni, siamo stati molto bravi nella fase difensiva. Oggi siamo migliorati nella fase difensiva, oggi e forse nel primo tempo siamo stati un po' timorosi, era normale dopo aver preso 5 gol, mentre nel secondo tempo penso che abbiamo fatto una mezz'ora a grande livello, avevamo anche in mano il gioco, abbiamo avuto qualche occasione, qualche cross che ha attraversato tutta la porta e poi insomma il secondo gol ci punisce troppo secondo me, però noi dobbiamo continuare con questo spirito, questa voglia. Oggi, mentre l'altra volta potevo arrabbiarmi, oggi non posso dire nulla ai miei ragazzi, posso dire solo di continuare così, perché crescendo partita dopo partita, confrontandoci in Italia con squadre della nostra portata, poi i nostri valori verranno fuori, ecco.
The answer was a little long, so I tried to make some notes. I'm happy about the results. I don't look back at the results. I don't remember the other team really having that many chances. I don't remember our goalie making great saves, but their goalie made some great saves. The second half, for 30 minutes, it was pretty good. It was a very good level, and we look forward to go forward and having better games.
Un'altra cosa, stiamo crescendo. C'è un aspetto però nel quale vuoi che la squadra cresca prima che altri, cioè c'è qualcosa nel quale bisogna crescere il prima possibile?
Forse siamo ancora un po', non so come dire, ingenui, forse, perché sono 2 gol con la palla a noi, però sono io che voglio che la squadra giochi, non deve essere intimorita, per cui sono io che chiedo di giocare da dietro. Siamo il Milan, non possiamo buttare la palla, però palleggio, la sicurezza di palleggio verrà solo col tempo e con la fiducia che prenderanno i giocatori. Dopo che veniva da una sconfitta così ampia era normale essere magari un po' timorosi e l'abbiamo pagato in questi 2 disimpegni, però sono contento, come dicevo prima, andiamo avanti. Mi fa piacere la reazione, la fase difensiva che abbiamo avuto oggi da parte di tutti, perché veramente tutti si sono impegnati e se fosse finita 1-0 o avessimo fatto 1-1 non si poteva dire niente contro una grande squadra che ha fatto 11 cambi e ha messo 11 campioni, per cui insomma noi nelle nostre difficoltà siamo stati, penso, all'altezza e dobbiamo ripartire da questa partita.
We were a little bit ingenious. We have to play from the back. I would like to build it up from the back. The ball, I don't want the ball to be thrown away. But as I said again, I'm happy for the results. We have to go forward. Everybody gave it their best. And the other team made 11 changes and they brought in 11 champions. So, but like I said before, I'm happy for the results. Too bad that it could have been a 1-0 game for the last goal that they scored.
Quanto Niang ha del tuo Milan? Perché magari a volte non conclude, però ha tanta voglia come non l'avevamo mai visto negli anni precedenti. Questa, e ti faccio contestualmente la seconda domanda, quanto è difficile invece convincere Mario Balotelli di farlo stare proprio numero 9 lì davanti, tu che lì davanti sei stato per tanti anni?
Ma no, per Mario come giochiamo noi, insomma lui può fare anche un centravanti di raccordo come fa un po' Totti nella Roma e poi insomma avere gamba sugli esterni come sta facendo benissimo Niang. Secondo me si sta impegnando molto, quando gli arriva la palla è sempre pericoloso, ha un bel atteggiamento e mi auguro che continui così, perché secondo me un Niang così in Italia ci può dare una grande mano. E non dimentichiamoci che Niang è quasi un 95, non penso ci siano tanti 94 di dicembre così forti in giro, per cui diamogli un po' di fiducia, un po' di tempo, come bisogna darla a El Shaarawy, che viene da 8 mesi di inattività. Noi paghiamo tutte queste piccole cose, però insomma adesso stiamo recuperando tutti, stiamo dando minutaggio anche ai nazionali. Oggi dietro abbiamo fatto secondo me una grande partita, eravamo molto aggressivi, insomma i due centrali, i terzini, gli attaccanti esterni ci hanno dato una mano, perché con loro se ti allunghi con giocatori di quella gamba rischi di prendere tanti gol. Invece purtroppo insomma paghiamo ogni tiro, è un gol, dobbiamo però ripartire da quello che di buono abbiamo fatto stasera, mentre le altre partite insomma hanno fatto grande fatica. Stasera ci siamo giocati la partita contro una delle squadre più forti d'Europa e questo ci deve dare fiducia per il futuro.
Niang is always dangerous. We have to. He was born in 1995, so he's young, and we have to give him some. We have to trust him. The same thing with Al-Shaarawy. He came from 8 months that he didn't play, so we have to wait for him. The national team players, they played somewhat. It looks like every time they take a shot, they score a goal, we have to be able to do better in the next games.
Pippo, la tournée continua, ma il torneo è finito con stasera in 3 partite. Se vuoi tracciare un bilancio di questo torneo, insomma, lo dividiamo fra le prime 2 della partita stasera, poi dimmi tu.
Sì, diciamo che parte un po' la seconda partita, poi siamo andati in crescendo. Ora incominciamo a vedere, secondo me, una traccia del Milan che vorrei, soprattutto nella determinazione, nella voglia di fare. Come dicevo prima, insomma, essere stati probabilmente nei 30 minuti del secondo tempo alla pari con Liverpool e quasi, insomma, meritavamo di fare il pareggio, perché insomma il loro portiere è stato bravo su Niang, poi è stato bravo su Cristante. Abbiamo fatto tanti cross in cui è mancato veramente un pelo, abbiamo fatto delle buone trame, perché anche chi è entrato ha fatto bene. C'è un bello spirito, dobbiamo ripartire dallo spirito, dalla determinazione. Come dicevo ieri, in questo momento il paragone con queste squadre è improponibile, però penso che invece nel campionato italiano, con questa voglia e con questa organizzazione, potremo fare bene. Insomma, abbiamo ancora un mese di lavoro e in un mese cresceranno tutti i giocatori, anche i nazionali avranno trovato una migliore condizione, tornerà De Jong, insomma quando saremo al completo penso che possiamo fare molto bene.
We'll have a lot of determination. There were 30 minutes in the second half where we were at the same level as Liverpool. It was a very good level, and we could have done a little bit better with a little bit of luck. We could have scored. Whoever came in and played did very well, and we have another month of practice, and in this month we should be able to get much better.
In English. Raheem Sterling and Jordan Ivey in particular came in for some fairly rough treatment in the first half. Was that part of the plan to stifle the danger, or just an innate side to certain players' approach to the game?
Can you repeat that?
Raheem Sterling and Jordan Ivey,
yeah,
in particular Jordan, came in for some quite rough treatment of defenders in the first half. Was that part of the plan to stifle the danger of them, or just the natural side of the game for certain players?
Sterling and sono stati molto
Ivey. Jordan Ivey.
And Jordan Ivey.
I due esterni, sì.
Sì, i due esterni hanno creato molti problemi per la difesa.
Sì, no, sono due giocatori pericolosi, però penso che oggi Abate e De Sciglio abbiano fatto una grande partita i nostri due terzini, perché li hanno limitati molto, insomma, perché con loro che sono così forti e così veloci hanno dovuto fare una partita di grande attenzione e penso che l'abbiano fatta molto bene.
Abate and De Sciglio did a very good job. They played very well, and I think they did their job.
Mister, what did you learn from your first games in charge at Milan here in the States tactically or on a standpoint of like players and personnel?
Cosa hai imparato dalla prima partita che hai fatto negli Stati Uniti? Sì.
La prima o queste partite?
La prima partita, the first game that he played.
No, this whole month, like what did you learn in
Tutte
your
queste
first
partite.
month?
Oh, in questo mese.
No, queste partite mi hanno confermato che purtroppo il gap da queste squadre è molto grande, però è normale perché insomma loro hanno budget superiori, hanno grandi giocatori. Noi dobbiamo ripartire, ricostruire tanto, insomma questa squadra, come dicevo prima, è arrivata ottava, si deve scrollare un po' di dosso le paure dello scorso anno e sicuramente degli impegni così difficili non ci aiutano a ritrovare fiducia, però invece la partita di stasera penso che ce ne debba dare tanta.
Well, in this month, once again, there is a very big gap between AC Milan and these teams, which have a very big budget, and they can afford to get players. But it will work, and the best for the next month.
What were your impressions of the crowd and the atmosphere in Charlotte for this game?
L'impressione dei fans e degli spettatori del Charlotte, di questa città di Charlotte.
Charlotte ci ha accolto bene, è un bellissimo stadio e i tifosi del Liverpool, come i tifosi del Milan che sono qui, che sono speciali, insomma, vedere così tanti tifosi, ma sappiamo che insomma la tifoseria del Liverpool è una grande tifoseria, è bello vedere insomma lo stadio tutto pieno e noi speriamo di regalare ai tifosi del Milan nell'ultima partita che andremo a fare la prossima settimana spero una buona partita e magari una vittoria perché ci seguono sempre con affetto in America.
It's a beautiful stadium. It's nice to see this almost sold out stadium with great fans from the Liverpool. We hope that the following week, when we play in the last game, we can give a gift to the AC Milan fans.
Thank you.
Okay.
The last.
Thank you. May I ask in English? How was Honda's play this time?
Come ha giocato Honda?
No, Honda è entrato. È un ragazzo molto disponibile che sta facendo bene. L'altra volta già gli avevo chiesto un sacrificio, appena arrivato ha fatto 70 minuti, oggi gli ho riservato questa mezz'ora ed è entrato con lo spirito giusto, ha fatto delle buone cose, ha dato anche quel passaggio a Niang, che poi è stato bravo il portiere del Liverpool a contrastarlo, ha avuto un bel atteggiamento.
He played very well. He played 30 minutes. He gave a nice pass to Niang, which the goalkeeper made a nice save. And he has the good spirit and is on the right track.
Okay. Bye-bye.
We were very strong, pressed the ball really well, very hungry to get the football. And I thought some of our football at times was outstanding. So very pleasing, and as I said, it's we're here in this tournament to do well, and we've got to the final. So now we hope to win it, as well as getting our preparation right for the start of the season.
Yes, were you surprised to see so many Liverpool fans in the stands tonight? It was obviously a pro-Liverpool crowd.
Yeah, I am and I'm not. I've been at the club a couple of years, and wherever I've been, wherever in the world, there always seems to be Liverpool supporters. I've got to say, I was surprised at the number. We're in a beautiful city here, which was great. I was just so surprised that so many got here. It was incredible. Like when we were driving up to the stadium, it was like it was an FA Cup final or a Champions League final. And around the hotel, it was just mobbed with people. So just shows you the sheer scale of the club, the size of the club worldwide, and hopefully, as I said, the supporters are enjoying the football.
Gentlemen, the season's very close now. The regular season to start. Obviously, a lot of changes, but things look pretty free-flowing today. What's the biggest difference you think, style-wise, between this year's team and last year's that had a lot of success?
Well, at this moment in time, there's no great difference. I think that we've brought players in that understand the way of working, and obviously a lot of the players are retained from last season. So I think what we have this year, we have greater belief. I think we were probably a surprise for most last season. But I think you see tonight the level of our football. And what pleased me tonight was the maturity. I think there was a real maturity to our game, even with the young players playing, understanding the system, understanding the style, and having that belief that we can win games. And even in pre-season, creating that mentality is very, very important.
James Carroll. No Daniel Sturridge tonight, Brendan. Is there an update on him?
Yeah, no, Dan's flown back to the UK. He wasn't going to be ready for the game Monday, but there's no concern there. He'll be ready for Borussia Dortmund at the weekend. But it was just best to get him back as early back to the training ground and get some treatment there.
What was the problem with him?
No, he just had a really, really slight feeling in his hamstring. So, but that was it really. So nothing major.
So,
Hi Ben, how are you?
Okay.
Given the opposition, Monday's game, will it be much of a friendly?
I don't think many are, to be honest. I think you've seen all the games. Manchester City, they're competitive. These are top players, and top players, every game's a competition. And when you work for a club like Liverpool, it's there's never too many friendlies. So, and you see in tonight's game, very competitive. AC Milan were physical and probably got a little bit frustrated trying to chase the ball. And obviously the game on Monday will be equally as competitive. So, but it's been a really good pre-season for us. We hope to finish it well with the 2 games that we have, and the most important fixture is the first game of the season.
Brendan, can you describe the Liverpool-Man U rivalry to an American audience who might not know just about the intensity of it?
Yeah, well, it's more than football. It's a life, and it's about 2 cities that are not very far apart. But as I say, historically, they've always been huge rivals. So it's arguably the biggest game in the world, and for it to be here in the United States with the tournament is great viewing for the supporters and for the tournament organisers, because they're the 2 of the biggest clubs in Britain. They are the 2 biggest clubs in Britain and 2 of the biggest in the world. So it'll be a fantastic game, and as I said, we're looking forward to it.
Any final questions, guys?
Can you speak to what your impression are of the evolution of the game in the United States?
I think firstly you got to look at the supporters. I think it was 109,000 people today at that game, which is incredible, really. I think the interest is being generated now in this country, which is incredible. So it's great that the TV and media are all coming together to back soccer, as you call it. But no, I think it's a country that's evolving, and I'm sure, probably the focus will be to win the World Cup in the next 20 years. And if you keep developing as a country and nation like you've done in the last 15 years, then probably will go close, because you have so many great athletes in this country, so many great technicians, in every sport that you're involved in. And so it's only going to be a matter of time before that rolls out into football. So great country, we've been looked after very well. So as I said, hopefully they'll continue to develop well as a nation.
Last question, gentlemen at the back.
Briefly looking ahead to the Premier League season, what's going to be the difference in taking the title this year and moving up that 1 spot?
I think it's going to be the same. It's going to be very, very competitive. All the teams will have thought they've improved, as will we. So the first aim is to qualify for Champions League and then try and build your way up through. And that was and that was what we done last year. Go into every game, just focus on the next game. Don't look too far ahead. Very difficult to forecast in football, because you never know what the other team will bring to the game. So you can only concentrate on yourselves, concentrate on developing your own players and improving them, and then, as I said, you grow from that. So and that's what we're in. We've got a real winning mentality, and we hope to continue with that into the season.
Thanks for coming, guys. Thanks for the coverage you've given the game.
Cheers. Thank you. Thanks.
Folks, we welcome you into the press conference room here at Bank of America Stadium as I sit in the chair previously sat in by the great maestro of Merseyside, Brendan Rodgers.
And I'm sitting in the chair of the AC Milan translator.
Well, all right. That sounds good. You can be my translator. Folks, as you see my pristine Liverpool FC scarf, Liverpool a 2-0 win over AC Milan. Obviously, with the win tonight, Ed, that will catapult them to their first ever quintuplet, where Liverpool will win the Champions League, the League Cup, the FA Cup, and the Guinness Champions International Cup of Cups. It's going to happen. All 5 will come home to Merseyside this season. I guarantee it, folks. And have I ever lied to you in the last 20 minutes? Well, if you've watched the rest of the show tonight, I'm sure I have. But anyway, Ed, we have just had a great time here.
Absolutely. Jordan Ebay is a revelation to me. Just a great young player.
And as I told you, Ed, he would be just as comfortable playing safety for the University of Georgia as he is playing the wing for Liverpool.
Todd Gurley, call us. We can get you a connection.
Call us, Todd. You're going to win the Heisman and come on our show with it. So we're going to get you some help, big guy.
Absolutely.
Big thanks to everyone here at Bank of America
Of course.
Stadium.
So welcome. They're letting us chill here late. It's great.
Absolutely. We should have been kicked out long ago.
But for many different reasons.
They're letting us hang out. Revelations I learned tonight, Ed, the Italians smell wonderful.
Oh, they do.
It was
we
a
knew
wonderful,
that from Pirlo.
wonderful smell when they came in. Well, we can smell Pirlo through the screen thousands of miles away. When Pippo Inzaghi came in, the waft of Drakkar Noir came over me. It was just amazing. This isn't the podcast, so I can't get too graphic. But
no,
anyway,
you can't.
Okay.
We can't throw
That's
the
right.
explicit tag on
this is the G-rated show.
Yes.
The Italians smell wonderful, and Brendan Rodgers does have an aura around him that belies greatness in Liverpool.
And I did not pee while asking him a question.
You did. I have to pee myself, so we're going to get this done pretty quickly. Folks, that's right. Next week, week 2 of our high school football preview, we will be previewing Nash County, folks. We have interviews
No,
set
we'll be
up.
doing Wilson.
Oh, snaps.
We'll be doing Wilson. We'll be doing
snap, you're so right.
We'll be doing
County. I'm
Wilson
getting
Hines,
so far ahead of
Rocky
myself.
Mount Academy.
That's right,
We'll
Rocky
be
Mount
doing
Academy.
them. Betting Field and the elusive James B. Fike High School.
The elusive Fike High School, who may or may not be my pick to win this year's Big East and be the best team in the Tri-County area.
You'll see.
We'll take a look. Paul Durham will join us next week. I believe Jimmy Lewis might be with us.
Maybe.
Holy smokes, folks. Everybody coming. And then the week after, our final high school football preview, we'll get to my beloved Nash County with your Northern Nashes, your Nash Centrals, your Southern Nashes, and, of course, the old alma mater, Rocky Mount. But, Ed, it's been a great night.
Absolutely.
Not only here at the football pitch / football stadium, whatever you guys want to call it, but also here on the All New Sports Show.
Absolutely.
Week 1 out of the way. High school football is barreling down on us, just like Jordan Ivey is just down the right side for the Mighty Reds.
Good start to season 3, Wes.
Good start to season 3, Ed. And this is the serious season.
Absolutely.
The season of serious, in case you couldn't tell.
Very serious.
We'll see you folks next week here on the All New Sports Show, brought to you each and every week by Roger G. Taylor and Associates on WHIG TV. Ed, take them home.
Explosion!
Or Big America. I don't have a pin to throw tonight.
Nope, not tonight.
Oh, well.
Sorry.
Yes.
Yeah, we're good.
Yes, sir. This is very suboptimal.
God, we are the Wayne's World of 2014.
That's right.
Thank you.
Hey, we're all down for some cross promotion.
We'll swap.